A very good evening to you all. Thank you for joining us for the 8 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight with me, Wadulo, Mark, Arnold. Let's take a look at the headlines before we get into the bulletin. In our top stories tonight, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni lauds Kalangala for embracing his wealth creation gospel. Uganda gets fiber optical cable route to improve internet access. La Paix, Uganda to host UBC TV NTV Derby at Wankulukuku this Sunday. And Uganda Canoe Federation hosts regatta in Jinja. Thank you for joining us once again. It's now time for the news in detail. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni requested Kalangala district residents to consider adding dairy and poultry farming to oil palm growing in order to create more wealth. President Museveni made these remarks during his investment and wealth creation tour in Kalangala district. President Museveni also expressed gratitude towards the people of Kalangala for embracing his wealth creation gospel, and that he was able to testify to it following his earlier visits to the two area residents who have been able to transform their lives through growing oil palm. He also advised the people of Kalangala and Uganda at large to embrace growing more oil palm so as to enable the country to get more than enough required oil palm products like soap and cooking oil for use. On the issue surrounding fishing sector, in Kalangala, the president revealed that he was going to work with the elders in Sese Islands to ensure that the sector is reorganized. We have a detailed report.
Norwecho sinayingira mbyakeji biki njagala tusoke tutereze ani avubira wano tuyinza kwewereza emyezi ngena netukitereza oluvanyuma netutandika netwongerako kati olabye amagulu g'obugaga bwa Sese ebinazi ekintu ekipya ntesiza ntumwongeremu ente z'amata mwongeremu enkoko z'amagi ate tuzukuse obugaga bwaffe obw'obujajja obw'ebyenyanja obutiddwa bano banalirawa kati kwe kugula okwokuna okw'obugaga bwa Sese. Okugula okwokutaano ye tourism. Wano walinga California bw'olaba obulungi bw'embeera y'obutonde kati ebyo nabyo muleeta ebiteeso bye tusobola okukozesa okwongeramu amaanyi tourism, amahoteeri biki ndowooza ekigambo ekikulu awo ntambula y'ebideeri.
Mukama wange ekyo kituufu, naye n'amasannyalaze eno gakosa nnyo abantu bano abalina zi hoteeri.
Tugenda okulaba engeri gana amasanyalaze g'abaana n'ekolera gyange gavumenti erina okuyingiramu neyekola ku masanyalaze gano.
Batusuubiza kebo naye tejja, naye sebo unity okugisasula 10 n'ekintu sente nnyingi.
Kale amasanyalaze ngenda kukikolako tuleme okulekera abasese kubalekera abasuubuzi bokka. Kati n'olwekyo kinkoze bulungi okujja eno, naye ensonga enkulu kati ebyentambula ebizinga ebyo 64 ebiriko abantu amaato tuyinza kufuna amaato agawerako ebidyeri wano amaato we cannot fail to tuyinza kufuna amaato eryato limu nilikola ku bizinga 3.
The commissioning of the Chikagati Morongo hydro power plant in Isinjiro district by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and President Samia Suluhu is a major achievement for Uganda and the United Republic of Tanzania. The build, own, operate, transfer project with a 20-year power purchase agreement is expected to transform livelihoods and the economies of southwest Uganda and northwest Tanzania.
Chikagati Morongo hydropower plant is a cross-border project owned 90% by Africa Renewable Energy and Barclay Energy. Constructed on Kagera River, the largest tributary of Lake Victoria, the plant has a 14 megawatts power generation capacity and a project guarantee of 100 years.
Because the people want development, want transformation. The potential is there, but the ones in charge are not seeing it. So I want to thank His Excellency Magufuli, because you hear we started on this in 2005, nothing could move. Until 2018, that's when President Magufuli came, and I told him, I said, oh, you know, Magufuli will waste no time. He authorized it. And when Samia came, we went ahead. So, nawashukuru sana.
And I must say that the power generated here shall improve a lot of things. One, it's going to improve trading and investment in this region. It's going to improve the transport and transportation of people and goods, and so trade activities. It's going to improve social services, clean and safe water, sound health services, better schooling, contemporary teaching modalities.
The plant will sell its power to the national grid, and the consumers will pay US cents 8.5 per kilowatt hour for the electricity generated. President Yoweri Museveni, however, implored the developers to make the cost cheaper.
This price of 8.5 cents per unit is not a Christian idea. What can we do about this eventually? How can we bring it down? Because we are insisting that power, especially for manufacturing, should be about 5 cents.
The project has all the makings of being a major catalyst in transformation of livelihoods and the economies of southwest Uganda and northwest Tanzania.
We've come from a long way, and hydropower is supposed to be cheap. So we shall work towards reducing the units. But this requires investing government money in generation, in transmission. The more you borrow money expensively, the more you will see expensive power.
We have Masaka Mwanza transmission line that is being thought about. There is Nsongezi hydro that we are also talking about. We have a gas pipeline from Tanzania to Uganda that we are discussing. We have this project as well that has brought us here today. So you can see we have a number of energy projects that we are planning, we want to do, and we are already doing.
Owned equally by the United Republic of Tanzania and the Republic of Uganda, the Build, Own, Operate and Transfer project with a 20-year power purchase agreement cost the developers US $100 million. With the plant fully operational, the next important phase, according to Barclay Energy, is the setting up of an efficient power evacuation infrastructure and enhancement of last-mile connections.
That the project can generate 16 megawatts, and it would be to the benefit of both countries to increase the power uptake to serve the ever-increasing demand. We expect that the full 16 megawatt capacity would be absorbed by the electricity demand in the region as early as 2024.
The local leadership of Isinjiro district lauded the two governments for the initiative and vowed to protect the investment and the environment in order to sustain power generation for generations.
I want to assure you, my brother, I want to assure the whole country that we shall do what it takes to conserve this river.
There is also economic empowerment. Many small-scale industries are coming up and they are going to partake of this power.
Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
Furthermore, Uganda has unveiled its second fiber optic cable route to the Indian Ocean. When fully operational, the internet cable that is already physically connected will offer Uganda internet stability and reliability. The new development makes Tanzania a major gateway for the internet in the region and Uganda a potential supply hub. Again, Dennis Sigwa with the report.
Uganda has over the years relied 100% on the Kenya Eastern route to Mombasa for access to the internet sea cable. But that is bound to change after the launch of an alternative fiber optic cable route through Tanzania.
We have already connected the backbone at Mutukura. That's the one from Dar es Salaam to Mutukura and Kampala to Mutukura. We have already connected the backbone so that we can be able to share data and all aspects of connectivity. This is going to help us reduce the cost of data, the cost of internet.
The new route will pick internet from undersea providers in the Indian Ocean. The physical connection has already been done, but what remains is enabling the internet to run on top of the infrastructure.
And that route now will pick internet from our undersea providers in the Indian Ocean through Dar es Salaam to Dodoma, up Mwanza to Mutukula, or Mutukula as the Tanzanians call it. And then from Mutukula, we as NITA and the Ministry of ICT have also brought a fiber optic cable from Kampala and throughout the country connecting to Mutukula. So now we have interconnected the two networks of Tanzania and Uganda. It now provides us a secondary alternative route from Dar es Salaam.
Introducing an additional route brings competition, and eventually the price of internet is expected to drop significantly.
Internet now is still not at the price it needs to be lowered. So by introducing an additional route, we're actually introducing competition now, and the price should significantly go down. But we're also providing security for our internet traffic. Why should we have only one route? If there is some intermittent drop from one direction of Mombasa, we should now have an alternative route through Dar es Salaam.
Besides the fiber connection, the two countries are also on the verge of harmonizing telecommunication, says Dr. Chris Bariomonsi, the Minister for ICT.
We are reducing and removing the roaming charges. We have removed taxes on the incoming calls from Tanzania. So beginning next financial year, when you make a phone call to Tanzania, it should be the same as if you are making a phone call within Uganda.
Dennis Igoa and Juman Samba for UBC News.
Uganda police officers are currently undergoing training on the proper use of advanced gadgets, including thermal red eye and pack eye, designed specifically for detecting radioactive sources. This training coincides with the arrival of pilgrims in Morongo for the Martyrs' Day celebrations. The trained officers will play a crucial role in maintaining a secure environment throughout Morongo, and the event will effectively be secure. Let's take a look at the story.
The Atomic Energy Council periodically conducts training sessions for security agencies on handling radioactive detection devices while minimizing their own exposure to radiation and protecting the population they serve.
You are searching. I come with my bag. The Smith opened my bag, then I check what is inside. Because if my bag is contaminated and you are checking, you are going to transfer the contamination to other people.
The Police Counterterrorism Unit is a frequent beneficiary of these engagements as they are responsible for detecting and preventing terror threats. They have been trained to use various gadgets such as the thermal red eye and pack eye, which are used to detect radioactive sources.
The backpack, which can be used to do the sweep before the event usually. So prior to the celebrations, we have to move around to ensure that nothing is kept within such a place before.
These training sessions enable officers to be prepared for events that attract a large number of people, ensuring the safety of everyone involved. These officers will be deployed to oversee the Namugongo events. However, dealing with such an event requires the deployment of more baggage scanners to have wider detection coverage.
I want to thank the Atomic Energy Council because they have really supported us in this, especially the frontline officers. So we have the capacity to deal with any threat of terrorism, whether nuclear, whether bombing situations or armed attack. So as I talk in our preparations, I will not give the details, but we have about 3 layers of protection of that event.
So whenever we have such events, we deploy the equipment into the field, and then when they are done using it, then they return it back into the custody of the Atomic Energy Council.
Personnel from the Uganda People's Defense Forces, the Bomb Squad, Internal Affairs, Chemical, Biological, Radiological and Nuclear Unit, CMI, the Special Forces Command and other security agencies have also attended these training sessions. Mutonyi Hilda and Ivan Kahwa, UBC.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development has also released the NRM Manifesto Implementation Report for this year. Now, the report highlights the ministry's progress in achieving some of its key pledges, which include increase in power generation from 984 megawatts in 2017 to 3,500 megawatts in 2024-2025, and increasing efficiency in extraction of oil and gas resources, among others. We have a detailed report on this story.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development plans to continue developing the East African crude oil pipeline despite the negative narrative associated with the project, says Irene Batebe, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry.
We are mobilizing the funding for this project, but in order to support that drive as the Ministry, we ensured that we put in place the East Africa Crude Oil Pipeline Act that was passed by Parliament and assented to by the President last year, and this has gone a long way to support the project development. We are also undertaking the resettlement action planning, including cash compensation, but also resettlement of affected persons. Recall this pipeline traverses both Uganda, 20% of it is in Uganda, 80% is in Tanzania, a total length of 1,445 kilometers. So 68% progress has been registered on the Ugandan side, and 86% progress in terms of resettlement action planning on the Tanzanian side. So we continue to work to ensure that the construction works on this project commence early 2024.
Some of the key pledges attained by the ministry include reduction of cost of power, specifically for manufacturers, promotion of renewable energy systems, and production of refined oil and oil products for the local and export markets.
Electricity generation capacity increased to 1,378.1 megawatts with effective capacity of 1,279.7 megawatts. This is against a peak demand of about 824 megawatts. The installed capacity is expected to increase to over 2,000 megawatts with the commissioning of Karuma Dam project, which is expected in September 2023.
We continue to promote geological and geophysical surveys for a number of basins. We do have what we call our prospective basins. Besides the Albertine Graben, or that part of the Rift Valley, we do have other basins of Lake Choga, but also Kadam Moroto Basin in Karamoja. So we are doing extensive work in terms of geological and geophysical surveys in Moroto Kadam Basin, and from that, we have received positive results. We've seen seepages from this work, and that creates confidence that there is potential for crude oil resources in the Moroto Kadam basins.
With the country gearing up for the production of fast oil by 2025, national content and capacity building is highlighted as essential for the country's economic growth. Charlotte Amuge and Mary Namukose for UBC News.
The Director National Resistance Movement Mobilization, Rosemary Seninde, has directed for the verification of beneficiaries of government projects, especially in Myoga and the Parish Development Model. This was during the closure of the Secretariat national-wide mobilization drive and research survey of the assessment of the progress of the Manifesto implementation in the Central Region.
The National Resistance Movement Secretariat has climaxed its mobilization drive and research survey of the progress of the Manifesto implementation within the Central Region. The Director, NRM Mobilization, Rosemary Seninde, was informed how local leaders have used their offices for their personal gain, encumbered with ghost beneficiaries of government programs. The Director, Rosemary Seninde, directed the Town Clerk to verify all beneficiaries of the MUGULU Parish Development Model, adding that local leaders have misrepresented the President and will face disciplinary action when found guilty of misuse of office.
There is lack of communication. Abakulembeze bano tebalina information. Kati bwe batabana information ekisinga okunakuwaza omusuubira otya okudda wansi abuulire baki era ani anaayogerera bino bye twogerako. N'olwekyo eddagala lya kino bakwana bange munzikirize tulinogere wamu.
Seninde said the Secretariat is to set a platform where leaders and the local people will air out their views pertaining the party leadership and services.
Twagala tuteekewo platform esobola okuyamba abantu baffe okuraising ensonga zaffe. Then ekyokubiri twagala tuteekewo unity and reconciliation. Bakwano tukomyewo emmeeme.
The Director noted that there is a lot of misinformation and communication between the leaders and the local persons. Rosemary Seninde said leaders will verify beneficiaries of government programs and the final verification will be done by the Secretariat.
Even if it means holding barazas to the holding, but to hold to be kakase. Ekisinga okuleeta obuzibu tuvumaganya His Excellency President Museveni naye nga so sente aziweereza.
The elderly also aired out their grievances that must be put into consideration.
Muleke fabakade mutwi at least amalwaliro g'amagye gandibadde gatuyamba.
The chairperson, Boda Boda Riders, Ndugwa Charles, was concerned of the increased taxes levied on Boda Boda. Leaders were concerned about the ceremonial structures of the NRM structures and the increased unemployment. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Uganda Network of Aid Service Organizations on behalf of the country coordinating mechanism under the Global Fund has assured Ugandans of more assistance. These remarks were made by Tony Stevie Luyimbazi, the country coordinator Global Fund Uganda, during the country coordinating mechanism meeting held in Kampala.
Country coordinating mechanism under Global Fund is a vital part of the Global Fund architecture at country level, responsible for submitting requests for funding and for providing implementation oversight to civil society organizations. The country coordinator, Global Fund Uganda, Tony Steve Luyimbazi, says Ugandans should not be worried about support from Global Fund.
The Global Fund and the CCM emphasizes so much the need to engage communities and different stakeholders to ensure that we get engaged in getting feedback and being part of the discussions in terms of setting priorities for these grant applications, but also trying to understand how then can the different organizations and CSOs through UNASO as their network umbrella organization that coordinates them can then meaningfully engage in the Global Fund processes, not only in funding application, but also grant application and oversight over the cycle of 3 years.
Luimbas adds that they will continue to lobby financial support from Global Fund so as to help civil societies in Uganda to defeat HIV, TB and malaria and ensure a healthier, safer and equitable future for all Ugandans. Coordinating mechanism, they have developed strategies to mobilize resources that can raise funds to support their advocacy works.
There is an application that we've developed where people can log into that application, share information, pick information right from the community level, facility level, people accessing services, to just try to understand how can they use that information, get it consolidated and reported through that community-led monitoring structure. And that, of course, is wide on its own. So that is one of the strategies we are considering to support and strengthen it further.
During the same meeting, civil society organizations were to elect another representative to replace Nakasi Sylvia, who was one of their representatives from CCM under Global Fund. However, this was postponed 2 weeks from now, something which other members from UNASO like Matthias Mulumba hadn't supported, saying it may cost funds and time once the election is postponed.
The roles of the person we are going to be electing, it's like parliament for the different constituencies that we have in the national politics. Each of the constituencies that are represented in parliament have one person who speaks on behalf of that constituency. Now, when it comes to Global Fund works on 3 diseases, HIV, malaria, and TB. So in each of these diseases, we have different organizations that play a key role.
Founded in 1996 as an umbrella organization, UNASO exists to provide coordination, representation, and networking among civil society aid service organizations. It gets its funds from Global Fund, which are mobilized by the country coordinating mechanism responsible for submitting requests for CSO funding. Sudat Kaye and Fahim Muyingo, UBC News.
A 65-year-old farmer in Rhino Camp Town Council, Madiokolo District, Swaib Aliamoy, is one of the best beneficiaries in large-scale agriculture in West Nile region. From a grass-thatched house now to a permanent house, Aliamoy used to stay in Rhino Camp trading before he ventured into agriculture. Let's have a look.
In 2015, Aliamoy started cassava growing on 2 acres of land, having joined one of the poverty alleviation programs of Operation Wealth Creation. Aliamoy was introduced into commercial farming, mainly cassava production, by one of his best friends, Abdallah, who advised him to start on the type of agriculture to invest in.
When Abdallah came to see this area, he asked me, "Swaib, you go for farming. Then you had the government program." I came with Abdallah here. He give me cassava cutting, 8 bags. I planted it there. I started this NASA 14. When I was not here, I was there at town. I sold that cassava stock. When I sell that one, I told, Swaib, don't leave this one, you go to farm.
He first started farming through his inherited land, but later expanded to his 53 acres in 2016, where he practices livestock as an additional capital to expand the cassava project.
I sell 4 cows. I went to digging. They bring me Narocas one. I plant. I got 78 million with the Narocas.
He then diversified into other projects like orange growing and later mango fruit growing.
Abdallah told me to dig 2.5 inches. When I finish to put the poles, then I call production officer. Let him come to see what I'm doing, is it good or bad? Production come, see poles which I put them. And then 16, the sub-county bring these oranges. They give me, I was the farmer, first farmer. They give me 600.
Aliamoi's experience is also backed by the training he acquired by an Italian-based NGO in West Nile, Kpop. With innovativeness, he also turned his own home into a learning center for other members within Rhino Camp and other parts of Madiokolo district.
When a Kpop come, the production came to me. Alexi Baguma came to me. He told me, I have a place for putting mangoes. I said, yeah. We went to Zumbo. Government give him solar system, his irrigation, that one to the field. I learned that thing in my brain, so that when the people come, let me put my neighbors will work with them.
At his backyard, he rears local chicken and also grows vegetables. His hard work attracted attention of the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who visited the farm on 11th of April 2023 during his wealth creation tour in West Nile.
Now they ask me, Swipe, President, come to your place. He promised me to give one tractor and then one pickup for picking this thing to look for the market.
Aliamoi is now one of the few prominent farmers in West Nile, serving as reference for other farmers, especially on poverty alleviation programs.
Swipe was a rich man, but a poor man at the same time. Owning 55 acres, but not knowing what to do with the 55 acres, not having the capital to put the 55 acres to work. But when he heard the message that the president has been preaching, and so the people of Madiokolo and especially the people of Rhino Camp there were very inspired, and that is exactly what we're trying to do. A poor man from nowhere was visited by the president.
He urges people to stop farming as a by the way. Joseph Odama, UBC News in Madiokolo.
Now, government has also started regional engagements on mindset change and financial inclusion programs for parish development model. The last training carried out by Opportunity Bank Uganda was in Mubende District. Mubende District Chief Administrative Officer Leonard Tumusime says that the low pace of adaptation is because of the procedures involved, while public expectations for money is very high.
500 parish development model focal persons from Teso, Busoga and Greater Mubende have been trained in mindset change and financial inclusion in the regions. The engagements targeted parish chiefs, community development officers and commercial officers as focal persons in the implementation of the parish development model program. Mubende District Chief Administrative Officer Leonard Tumusimi told the officers that this engagement sets pace for rolling out parish development model.
We are about to publish which circle has got which money mindset change. This is something that we ought to have started with, so people have a perception that PDM means accessing money, but there are procedures one has to go through and want to qualify to access the money. With the community development officer, who are focal point persons in this pillar of financial inclusion, with the knowledge you get, we should be able to move smoothly.
Opportunity Bank Chief Relations Officer Uganda Amos Bona says business support agents will be recruited to train SACCO members at parish level.
We are looking at districts of Mubende, Chikube, Hoima, Kasanda, Mitiana and Chankwanzi. The unique things we've discovered in Mubende is the spectrum and the way people view the role of the different stakeholders is what is divergent, and the gist of the discussion is around the business support agents, which is an integral part of implementation of a successful parish development model.
My name is Nalukwa Birina. I'm a parish chief of Choga, Kasanda district. All what we've been thinking about PDM was also bad, but here they are training us how to change our mindset. That all what we do is good in the parishes.
The initiative is a partnership between Opportunity Bank Uganda, Opportunity International, and the Ministry of Finance. Ariana Francisco, UBC News.
Let's now take a short commercial break. When we return, we'll be back with business news, so please do stay tuned.
Hey, Master Blaster, touch him, man. Bang can with muscle. Those ones who say go for you only. Mundawa, best group is I teach you. When I'm going to which the muscari, because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? It's yes, you. What? Yeah, you step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs, and you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru. And you refuse to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you.
Okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako, n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga. Awamu teri kitulema.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabaddi, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 100 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 100 star 10 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 100 star 10 hash to get started.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Talk with freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial star 100 star 21 hash or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
For 10 years, the Uganda Film Festival has been shining a light on Ugandan cinema. This year,
we're celebrating a decade of excellence in filmmaking, innovation, and storytelling. Get ready for a week of physical and online workshops, masterclasses, and film clinics with some of the most experienced film experts in the business. Experience the magic of cinema with a diverse lineup of films from Uganda, Africa, and beyond. The festival runs from the 22nd of May to the 2nd of June 2023 and culminates with the Awards Gala, a glittering event that recognizes and honors the best in Ugandan cinema.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president. She is the hope of our community. And as a community leader, I will talk to others about how we must protect her against child marriage and teenage pregnancy because it affects us all. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from pregnancy. Because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. We now delve into the world of business. The National Organization of Trade Unions has expressed its dissatisfaction over the employment bill passed by Parliament on Wednesday. According to Asha Wilson-Owere, the Chairman General of NOTU, some sections in the new amendment bill do not give labor officers power to defend and promote workers' rights.
Parliament recently passed the Employment Amendment Bill of 2022, which among others provides that labour officers do not have jurisdiction to handle matters arising out of employment contracts. The Chairman General of National Organization of Trade Unions, Asha Wilson-Owere, expressed dissatisfaction over this provision. He believes it was masterminded by the employers.
The powers that was given to the labour officer is being removed. And once that power is removed, it leaves an employee at the mercy of the employer. And that is very, very dangerous. This law was supposed to cure the weak and empower the worker.
Owere says Clause 10, which proposes amendment to Section 65 of the Act and introduces grounds considered for dismissal of an employee by the employer, intends to victimize workers, a reason he requests the President not to assent to the bill.
Contract is a very small thing in this law. We are talking about the life of the worker. You attain the job, you keep it until when time comes. Employer can allege anything against you. Even an employee can also allege anything against the employer. So this is where the labor officer is very, very important. And labor officers are the ones actually who are supposed to safeguard that industrial relations. We want this law, first of all, not to be assented to until we have agreed.
The passed employment bill awaits the President to sign it into law, and once he assents to it, it means casual laborers, among them house helps and guards in Uganda, will require a contract specifying rights and obligations between the employer and casual employee. Joshua Kagoro, UBC News.
Let us now look at the performance on the money market and Uganda Securities Exchange, as Patricia Lukoma explains in the Financial Markets Update.
In our financial markets this week, we start off with the forex market where the shilling traded at 3,724.79 buying and 3,734.79 selling. A depreciation witnessed against the dollar. It continued to depreciate further against the pound and the euro and other currencies as previewed. At the close of this week today, the Uganda Securities Exchange recorded a total of 692,000 shares exchanging hands with a total turnover of 18.9 million shillings. Activity on the counter was minimal. All prices remained constant, only having 4 counters trading on the bourse and recording Stanbic Bank Uganda Limited as the lead with 685,000 shares exchanging hands. Sipla traded at 70 shillings with only 1 transaction of 3 shares exchanging hands. Other counters like MTN Uganda and Womeme registered 6,250 and 235 shares respectively. Stanbic Bank Uganda Limited SBU recorded a total turnover of 17.8 million shillings with 17 transactions on the counter. For UBC News, I'm Patricia Lukomampango.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too! Dial star 100 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 100 star 10 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 100 star 10 hash to get started.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
With freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial star 100 star 21 hash or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight. Now, in the world of sports, as Uganda Broadcasting Corporation and NTV teams gear up for the much-anticipated cross-generational broadcast derby to be played on Sunday, 28th May 2023 at the Mutesa 2 Stadium in Wankulukuku, Lapea Uganda has partnered with both teams to host the match and offer eye care services to the public.
Lapea Uganda has partnered with UBC and NTV to host the upcoming UBC NTV broadcast derby that will be played on Sunday, 28th May 2023 at Wankulukuku. While announcing the partnership at their headquarters in Ntinda, the PRO for Lapea Uganda, Oliver Mwanko, stated that this derby is a platform that will help them further their promotion of eye care and safety among sportsmen and the public at large.
Organize a CSR match, football game, that is going to see NTV face of UBC. The goal for this CSR game is to raise, of course, awareness about this particular, sport safety, eye safety month. And on top of that, it's also a channel in which we are using to reach out to our communities to make an impact. The game is going to be held at the Wankulukuku Stadium. That's going to be on Sunday, 28th of May. The gate opens at 10 a.m. and we are going to have a lot of activities that are going to take place right before the game. There will be tug of wars, there will be free eye checkup for the communities around, and many more.
The UBC team captain Ibrahim Kaima is excited at the partnership and the upcoming derby, saying it's a chance for his side to redeem itself as he promises victory.
The reason why we like such initiatives, which are corporate social responsibilities, Lapea is trying to do is try to raise awareness to community that these eye defects, these eye problems can easily happen, but better yet, they can easily be treated. So you don't have to be scared or seated at home. Come and get a free eye testing, and then later on, even the more funniest part is that you're going to get glasses at any affordable price with a total discount. So it's going to be a friendly match. Of course, there is a prize to be won, which is an ultimate prize. We have a golden trophy and some cash prize to be won. Nayenga, yeah. It's going to be at Wakulukuku. The gates will be open by 10 a.m. But our match particularly will kick off at around 4 p.m. There's going to be more activities before our main match, which will be tug of war. We shall have okwepena, I don't know how they call it in English, but yeah, all these fun activities, all in the spirit of keeping the fun around and keeping the locals involved. And feel free to come because entrance is free for everybody, regardless of any age. And yeah, we're open to the public.
The UBC NTV Derby is scheduled for the 28th of May 2023 at the Mutesa 2 Stadium in Wankulukuku. Gates will open at 10 a.m. with the main game at 4 p.m.
Festivities to celebrate Uganda-Korea ties have started with the Kpop event that has been boosted at Makerere University. The Kpop is the precursor to the Korea Ambassadors Cup that gets underway at the MTN Arena Lugogo on Saturday. Details in this report.
Since 1963, Uganda and the Republic of Korea have enjoyed a mutual collaboration that is now witnessing its 60th anniversary. To ensure the culmination is immaculate, the Korean embassy in Uganda is using various avenues to spice the occasion.
Today, we have 16 teams which passed first round of K-pop competition last week. So I was very surprised by their performance. Their performance is so good. Even Koreans do not follow the K-pop, but Ugandans very well, their performance.
The Kpop Festival has set the plethora of activities underway with more than 16 participants competing in dancing and fluency in Korean language at the Yusuf Lule Central Teaching Facility in Makerere University. The Korean ambassador to Uganda speaks well of Uganda's culture as exemplified by the ghetto kids and is hopeful Uganda and Korea will grow and blossom together.
I hope you continue showing interest and affection for Korean culture and language and play a pivotal role in promoting cultural exchange between Korea and Uganda.
The Korean language fluency in the Kpop Festival was won by Emily Katoko, while Nicholas Matov emerged best dancer and will contest the global event in Korea.
Ebyokwongeramu nina bingi nnyo nnyo kwa ekisooka ddala kyenna ekyokwongeramu
njagala kubalaga nti wano waffe mu Africa tulina naffe cultural dance waffe era njagala mbalaga amazina amaganda yaffe engeri gye tugatambuzaamu kuba nsina kika ky'amazina kyesizina.
What follows is the Korea Ambassadors Taekwondo Cup that gets underway this Saturday at the MTN Arena Lugogo and will be followed by the Korean Movie Festival. John Barnes, Sentamo, UBC News.
Interesting. Now, Kabaddi Federation of Uganda has held a coaches, umpires and administrators Class D capacity building course at ACP Hotel in Chigogwa, Matuga, Wakiso District. It attracted 164 participants, mainly from primary and secondary schools and the community. Let's have a look.
Kabaddi Federation of Uganda has intensified its efforts of spreading the sport across the country. This they have done through several avenues, with the latest being a capacity building course hosted at SCP Hotel in Kigogwa, Matuga, Wakiso District.
Some of the strategies that we are having for the Ugandans to embrace the sport is one, to be active. To be active, we have really tried to be active, and also continuing carrying out capacity building activities to those who don't know. Also, social media platforms have been of a great use to us. The YouTube channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at least also website, because you can find that a day we have more than 1,000 visitors on our website. And sometimes you find data getting finished within a few minutes, and they tell us the data is done and the space can't handle the number of people that come onto our website. Also, schools is the grassroots development of any sport. That's why strategically we are looking at young people, young coaches, younger players, and they are growing their sport.
The workshop are focused on subjects like sports ethics, coaching, administration and management, with many also introduced to rules of the sport.
It is a capacity building whereby we try to grow capacities among our coaches, among our umpires, because since this is a new sport, we normally organize such kind of activities, and we call upon all the stakeholders to come on board.
The tutorship was from established sports administrators including Wilfred Katomu Humuza, Richard Amatre, Martin Mugabi and Ephraim Makubuya. There were also practical lessons to enable beginners in the sport appreciate it while acquainting themselves with laws of the game. Kabaddi sport originated from India, where it's been played for ages, but set root in Uganda in 2018 and has already registered success with several global appearances. John Barnes, Sentamo, UBC News.
And with that comes the end of our 8 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. Thank you for being a lovely audience. Join us later on at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. With me, Wadulo, Mark, Arnold and MUGULU Mohammed on sign language. See you at 10.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
She is our family's pride, and as her father, I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
Ebiseera by'okuzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu, kano kalipagano ka bidduka. Simanya kuzunga na banka siripusi.
kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *665*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erunganisibwa banka enkulu ya Uganda.
You are cordially invited to a special screening of my stage play Biro this May 28th at 5 p.m. at Uganda's National Theatre, where the play first held its world premiere 20 years ago, back in 2003.
So I'm very happy with what Ntari has done.
From there, the play went on to premiere in London, at the Public Theatre in New York, at the Market Theatre in South Africa, in the African Union Summit in Ethiopia, in Zimbabwe, Botswana, in Kenya, in Toronto, Los Angeles, and nearly a dozen countries around the globe. And now we're bringing this special screening of the play back home to Uganda. This is just one of many special events that the Uganda Film Festival is hosting in celebration of their 10th anniversary. I will be there in special attendance, and I hope to see you there soon. More details at the link below.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too! Dial *100*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100*10#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100*10# to get started.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV, and thank you so much for following all our programs. I warmly welcome you to this week's edition of UBC One-on-One with Michael Jordan Lukomwa. We discuss variety, that's what I always say, and we look for those personalities with vital information that we need for our own good. Now, we have professional bodies in this country, everywhere. The lawyers have, the accountants have, the journalists we have, all professions have, but some of them have problems due to lack of leadership, and others are thriving because of leadership and how their systems work. We want to know how relevant are these leaderships within these professional bodies, and how do they get organized to enable the bodies thrive. What are those mistakes that are made by these bodies, the systems of leaderships in these bodies that cause problems within the professions, and how everything would be moving? That is the area of our discussion this evening, and my guest is from the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, and his name is CPA Mutumba. Mutumba Ronald. Is from Mutumba Mukobe and Company Certified Accountant. You're most welcome, sir.
Thank you, my brother.
How is everything?
All is well.
Yes.
Thank you for hosting me.
You're most welcome once again. Now, you subscribe to a leadership, not to a leadership, to a professional body. That is the Institute of Certified Public Accountants. What kind of leadership? What's the design of the leadership within your professional body? I'll show you why I want that. How is it designed? Do you have presidents, what, and all over the country? How is the leadership design stipulated in your professional body?
Thank you, Michael. The leadership of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda has been prescribed in the Accountants Acts and the attendant regulations. It is a council, and the council is comprised of 11 members. Of the 11 members, 4 are appointees. 3 appointments, 1 for the Office of the Auditor General another for the Accountant General, and another to represent the Ministry of Education. Then we have a fourth appointment, which is a ministerial appointee to represent other professional bodies. That is important because the institute serves in the public interest. So that leaves another 7 positions. These ones, we refer to them as the 7 elective positions. So the 7 elective positions are for members of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants who are in good standing. So every 2 years, we have got elections to vote 7 members into the council, who will then be joined by the 4 appointees to make a council of 11 members. And at its first council meeting, the council of 11 elects amongst themselves a president and a vice president.
How relevant are these leaderships? Because the lawyers have, the who's have everywhere. Taking reference to your professional community, what's the relevance of these leadership systems in a professional body?
Michael, if I can go a little bit into the food world. If you want to see the best fish, you always check the head and check the gills. The quality of leadership will reflect the quality of the organization.
We'll go to that direction. But after voting for this council, you have the appointed team, you have the group that you elect for. How relevant is having them? You have a leadership body. Yes. What does it do? How relevant is it for the professional body?
The council of the institute is responsible for governing and controlling the affairs of the institute. And it is supported by a secretariat, which is headed by a chief executive officer, who is the secretary to the council, and therefore responsible for executing the mandate of day-to-day operations. So the council gives guidance and oversight, just like you do have a board of directors over any organization. It sets policies and also continuously monitors implementation of activities and policies. But this must be in accordance with the provisions of the laws.
Because your entity exists on a foundation of the law.
Yes, the institute is a statutory body established under the Accountants Act.
I want us to look at a general picture of all the bodies, the professional bodies. Can a body fail to operate, to thrive, to sustain its life without a leadership?
Yes, lack of proper leadership, good leadership actually, is a very, very big risk to the continuity of a body. Because it means, first of all, that body will not be able to implement its mandates. And even if it attempted to implement it, chances are very high that it will go off track. Yeah? And the entity will always find itself with regulatory challenges to face with. Those are the bodies that we find are always in court, members suing the leadership, leaders suing one another, fighting one another, and things of the sort.
Don't these elections cause intrigue among the members and the professional body itself? You have had a number of professional bodies have cases in courts of law where they are trying to get rid of a president, get rid of a secretary general, get rid of who, because of political kind of issues that come up during elections and things like that. What is your view about that within that happens within political, I beg your pardon, within professional bodies?
For the institute, we have been in a position where, yes, we can have disagreements internally, but we are able to coexist in harmony. A good example is this election season that we are in. Campaigning is ongoing, but there's harmony amongst the candidates and amongst the members, amongst the different people campaigning for different candidates. It is very important because at the end of the elections, the leadership is there to serve the institute and its members. So our strongest point for us lies in our willingness, our desire and deliberate intention to comply with the provisions of the laws. The laws that govern us may not be perfect for the now, but laws can always be improved. Even the Americans have amendments every other day. Yeah.
But what do you make of a situation where politics, campaigns would end up splitting a group of professional people who have been working together. What do you think normally brings in that, if you're to take a lesson as people going in for an election?
Personal interest coming over and above institutional interest.
Can it be avoided in an election?
Yes.
How? Because at a time when somebody stands to take a position, definitely he has interest that he's chasing.
Professional services are a calling. I am an accountant as a calling. I'm a CP as a calling. The biggest asset I have is to be an accountant in good standing in the public at all times. So if I have got that mindset, then I will always think of the bigger picture of the profession than personal interest. And that is why our service as leaders is voluntary service. We are not remunerated to serve, but it is in our interest that we serve to grow the profession. So those professions that experience such challenges, it is because they are personal interests, and usually these are ego, money, short-term interests. But we are lucky that our institute, as of now, we have managed to always bring the bigger picture of the future of the interest first before our personal interest.
You say you are not working, as leaders, you don't look at remuneration. Are people in office working for free?
They are employees. The main contract between them and the employer is the reward that they are going to receive in exchange for the employment, which would be that monetary package, salary, and other benefits.
So if I'm an accountant and I'm elected president tomorrow, I expect a salary at the end of the month?
Not a salary as president.
Yes.
The presidency of the institute.
Because that's what I wanted. Do these leaders, what's the motivation for the leaders that are voted for by the accountants?
Motivation of the leaders. 1, service. 2, the knowledge, the inner knowledge that the growth of your profession is also your personal growth. In my case, that is my biggest motivation. That I can only grow as a professional if the professional body I subscribe to is also growing in its relevance to society. Society is dynamic.
So they don't earn anything, they're not paid anything?
There is no reward for serving as a leader of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda.
There have been talks in professional bodies of leaders who swindle funds from the coffers of the bodies. Have you had such stories in the ICPA?
At a personal level, I have not heard of any of those stories. And this is the reality. The day-to-day running of the institute is the responsibility of the secretary, who is the chief executive officer, and he is supervised by a board. And the board, in supervising the CEO, has got committees that are committees of the council. And these committees take responsibility for oversight of different aspects. And these committees are filled by members of the profession and any other co-opted professionals.
So there are no chances of anyone accessing wrongfully the coffers of the institute. What do you think is the loophole in other associations, other groups, where we see bad manners in as far as money matters is concerned?
It starts with how is that profession or institute, how is it regulating its members? What is its appetite for indiscipline? The moment you tolerate indiscipline at the lowest of levels, indiscipline is a cancer. It will grow into the rest of the organization. So it is the tolerance. At ICPA we have got zero tolerance. I trust we have zero tolerance because we serve in the public interest. So if we cannot be tight in our own environment, then how will the public trust us to serve in its interest?
Okay. Now, leadership comes with temptations. Why I brought in that actually is after you telling me that people serve for no pay. Isn't that temptation enough for people to go away with money that is supposed to be for the institute? People to be tempted to extend their fingers into what would be the association's kind of package.
You can only come in to serve as a volunteer into a professional body when you are already in a state where you're mature enough to appreciate the importance of service above self. 2, the control. When I speak about the leadership of the institute, I'm referring to the council, the governing council.